What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left of... See, I have to point right, but it's in the left. So if I point over here, and this is technically where he's at, in the left side of the map, in the blue color, playing as Oranos. His name is GrassenGroom. The grassiest of grooms. He's a groomer of grass. Does that make him a kind of like a pretty handy with a lawnmower? Is that what he's trying to say with that name? I think there's something more to that name than meets the eye. His opponent today in the red color playing as Zeus. His name is Hagrit. Hagrit the Wise, Hagrit the Grey, Hagrit the Giant. Yes. Best of 5, first round of the main event. Single elimination. You lose a series, you out of here. You hit the road. What do they say? What do they used to say? On your bike. That's the Australian way of saying get out of here. You lost on your bike. That's what happens in this tournament. You fail to pass the adversity that is in front of you, and said adversity will continue, and you will wallow in self-pity until the next tournament comes round. Okay, we have ourselves a classic Oranos versus Zeus matchup. I think the thing which is becoming incredibly clear about this tournament is that certain gods people really prefer over other ones. This is all just right now. I've got no statistics to be backing up this claim, but I have a serious feeling that that the god. I'm going to list the gods, and we're going to just compare it to my tier list from a way back when. So the gods that are really heavily picked in this tournament thus far have been Oranos, Odin, Zeus, and that's kind of it, right? That's all we have seen some Set as well. So those are the 4 gods that have seen some heavy use in this tournament, as well as Gaia and Kronos as some outliers. So all those other gods that we once said were really, really strong, I'm talking about your Poseidon, I'm talking about maybe your Ra. They're not being seen so much in this tournament, which is a little bit peculiar. Possibly the reason we aren't seeing much Poseidon is because we're not seeing much Matrius, which is a thing. So you have to take it all with a grain of salt based on the players that are in here. But definitely getting a much less biased view of what the general high-level player base is considering is a really, really strong god for this kind of thing, because you see them basically going through their own tier list when they're playing this game. It's like you'll see most of the players playing their strongest pick. So in honesty, if your strongest pick is Zeus, then you should be saying that Zeus is the best god in the game. So that's technically where that's at. But then there's also the consideration to come in here that maybe Zeus is just the best counter to Oranos, which is something which might be happening here. So enough of the random theory crafting. We got to talk about the game here. We've got ourselves GrassenGroom. He's going to find this relic over here. It is the Eye of Ornlo. This is the infantry bonus damage technology, or relic, I should say. And we've also got the Girdle for Polity. This is also a archer extra HP. So if one player gets the archers, the other player gets the infantry. Everyone's feeling very, very good about all of that. So Prometheus is on the way now for GrassenGroom. Hagrit has now moved on to this hunt. This is a bit of a strange... Well, it's not strange. Every single map is strange in a way. But this is a bit of a strange... I would say a strange competitive Mega Random map, because everybody's saying competitive Mega Random has tons of hunt. Well, this map here had only 1 boar, had a decent amount of hunt on the second hunt, and the third hunt spawning with just 3 caribous. So this is a fairly low hunt map here for Hagrit and GrassenGroom, and we'll see how they're going to deal with it. I think that this actually doesn't really favor one player or the other. I think that it's fairly equal in this matchup, because Zeus has got access to the Centaur, and so long as you can get out your Jason and your Odysseus without any real issues, you're fine to come back, get on your berries, start throwing the farms down, maybe getting a second town center out and being okay. And same too with Oranos, you're probably never going to have any issues with your military buildings. The fact that there's no hunt means you will have to farm, which means no one town center shenanigans is going to be, there's not really going to be room for one town center shenanigans with the lack of food that's on the map. That tends to be the change here, as we're seeing GrassenGroom moving forward with his Promethean offspring is going to be looking to hit Hagrit's forward hunt here as they're just passing right across this middle lake here. A little cute lake in the middle of this big hole in the middle of the map. I love that. I think that looks beautiful. So, Prometheans wandering in here. The village is just about to finish up on this elk, so they're probably just going to be retreating back. The Centaur will be able to snipe one of those Promethean offsprings, or basically snipe one of those Promethean offsprings before they get away, so taking just a little bit of damage. The Jason going to be moving forward. The second Centaur is out, and Sylvan is on the way. Odysseus coming forward. It's actually really, really dangerous here for Hagrit. Going Sylvan late against Oranos, going 2 Centaur into Sylvan does mean you do run the risk of losing that first Centaur to the first amount of heroized valid units here from the Oranos. As we do see a mana getting popped down over here. The Oracle Scout over here is getting targeted down. The Centaur is going to be retreating back. We do see an immediate bolt there onto the Hero Mamilo, completely standard. Sylvan just about to come through. Hagrit waiting on this, very, very smart. He does pull back into a base. He does have himself one stable here as the Promethean offspring do find their way into the main base. If Hagrit is not paying attention to this one right now, oh, there he goes, turns around, gets that shank off. The other Promethean offspring just about to fall down. Hagrid does have to pay attention to this one as GrassenGroom doing a nice job harassing, but will basically just lose that Promethean offspring here. He does end up losing that one, and Hagrid's going to be back to chopping wood, no problems. The Centaur going to be getting some good damage down, and in this fight that is ensuing or about to ensue, the only thing that the players have to worry about is the heroes. So long as, well, mostly for the, well, okay, there's more than just that to worry about. But the general micro strategy here for the Zeus player is to set your heroes on your opponent's heroes and have your Centaur targeting down the enemy Murmillo. And if you can snipe some enemy Murmillo and make sure this dies, you're going to be all good. We do see a very, very early shockwave here. No ceasefire from Hagrit, as he does look like he's going to be able to get his Centaur to get out of here, not falling there. A little bit lucky there, I would say, but maybe a little bit too early on that shockwave from GrassenGroom. He does have a lot of units out here at the moment. You can see 65 population for GrassenGroom to Hagrit's 47, as Hagrit needs to think of a better way to go about this. So when you have 3 Centaur, the best kind of way to use these Centaur against Oranos is to be finding the rally point of these units and just consistently hitting it. So right now, said rally point is moving straight forward onto this location. So these Centaur hitting right here, for example, picking off a Terma every 15 seconds, super strong, super good way to play this matchup in order to slow the Oranos player down, which effectively you are going to be wanting to do. As this Centaur do spot a Promethean, so they will be able to pick those off pretty fast here, as the Promethean actually not being microed at all ends up falling. That's a big win for Hagrit. A lot of favor down the drain, as well as the actual gold gone there, as the Centaur going to be sitting on this temple. Luckily for GrassenGroom, his mana's not actually up there, so funnily enough, being housed coming to somewhat of an advantage there for GrassenGroom, because his Promethean would have popped out and probably would have been taken out very, very quickly there. So we are seeing the first raid coming through for GrassenGroom, as farms are starting to get dropped. There are a handful of hippikon in the base right now for Hagrit, as farms getting dropped. The term are going to be searching around for some units, but Hagrit's already on top of this one. 6 hippikon and a Centaur, more than enough. Probably not even going to lose a villager. Losing a Terma there to the town center. We will be seeing almost 1 Murmillo getting taken out. You do have to be careful when going after the main army because of Shockwave. But if you keep a timer on Shockwave in your mind, I think it's about 3 minutes in memory. 2 minutes, 260 seconds. So 4 minutes even, or maybe 3 minutes and 30. I can't do the math. 4 minutes, whatever. Maybe even 5 minutes. So keep that timer in the back of your mind for when you can be a little bit aggressive. And then once that timer comes up, you have to say, all right, got to respect that a little bit. Better not go for crazy Centaur shenanigans where you're attacking the main army trying to snipe those. We do see 1 Centaur snipe there. So Hagrit playing this fairly nicely thus far. But GrassenGroom, he's not really been slowed down just yet. He hasn't had to start farms. He's got tons of gold in the bank. probably could have been throwing those onto a different resource. As now we see Hagrit moving straight into the army. He's not paying attention. All the Centaur are going to be under some pressure. He might have to hit ceasefire here. Hagrit not paying attention at all. He's trying to retreat away, and he's going to lose so many units here. He does click ceasefire. Doesn't really. He loses one Centaur, but that is not what you want to see. If you're a Hagrit fan here, GrassenGroom getting a huge catch there, getting tons of damage onto those Centaur, but more importantly than all of that, forcing out the ceasefire. If Hagrit didn't use that ceasefire, he was probably just dead, completely dead there. So this now means that GrassenGroom can go for gold stars, GrassenGroom can get heroic age timings, GrassenGroom can get mythic age timings, and there's nothing to slow that down now for Hagrit, as Hagrit's now searching around the map. So one thing that I think that is a learning lesson here for Hagrit and for Zeus players alike is don't move your Centaur and your hippikon at the same time. The 5.5 speed of the hippikon is going to slow these down way too much. Separate them up, no problems where that's concerned, and you'll be fine. We are seeing the town center getting dropped by GrassenGroom, so this is making perfect sense here due to the low hunt nature of this map. I would say if maps have got higher hunt, you have a lot better chance of going for something a little bit more aggressive off of one town center. So we're going to see these units trying to make a retreat out to the top here as one citizen up here repairing this up. This citizen on this location here might be able to get sniped here by Hagrit as the villager looking like it's about to throw this wall down, but not going to be able to. Hagrit getting a little bit stuck on this wall here as he's going to try and come through this location. He does get through. Not going to lose any units, but GrassenGroom still completely fine here in this moment. He's going to finish off his walls. Hagrit cheating away. And Hagrit's got no room for any missteps right now as he's trying to build basically pure hippikon and Centaur on this map. The farm's starting to get dropped down, but Hagrit's got low resource, maybe too much gold in the bank here. Something to be thought about. You need more wood, less gold. He's only really building hippikon from one stable, so he only really needs about 4 or 5 villages on gold total to support that. Therefore, if that's the case, take off 4 of those gold villages, put them onto wood, onto food, and then get yourself your second town center a little bit after, and you'd be completely fine here. But right now, GrassenGroom's second town center just about to pop. You can see GrassenGroom keeping his resources relatively low in this game, doing a nice job getting himself medium infantry, just waiting on that one before committing to this fight a little bit here. Hagrit's got to be careful though, as we see a big there. That's why big shockwave, because Hagrit's moving around the map with his hippikon and his Centaur. He's not able to really control that to the best of his ability. One Centaur falling on this location over here. We do see this hippikon causing a little bit of chaos for the Terma over here, but Hagrit has to retreat yet again. GrassenGroom going to take down a couple of hippikon over in the left side of the map here. And now Hagrit on the retreat path, 86 population to 130. The farm's not quite all thrown down. You can see so much wood in the bank right now for Hagrit. So he's definitely wanting to throw up a second town center here. He's got resources to throw both town centers up at once, which might be a bit overkill, but also might be a good way to move forward here, so long as he can get the town centers up, that is. But because Hagrit's farming is kind of so slow here, only 9 farms up, he's not going to be able to support that, so he needs to get the farms down as well. So needs to get a little bit more wood out as well, as we will be seeing a straight Momilla hero getting pushed back as the Girdle of Hippolyta does get ran straight past here. This is 5% extra hit points for those Terma. They could come in pretty handy here, as Hagrit just going to be hanging in here, doing his darnest to just kind of hold on here. Pickaxe on the way. Hagrit definitely trying the one town center strategy here from Greeks, as he's not really training any units. He's on watchtowers. He's got 86 gold left. Not going to have any gold after this, so he's probably going to be in a bit of trouble. The one town center strategy here for Zeus I'm going to say it doesn't really work if you have to farm. If you have to farm, things are going to be a little bit dicey, but he will be able to advance. Does he have his armory up just yet? Yes, he does. So clearly wants to do that. Maybe going to throw a granary down here or something to keep those farms on the outside there being efficient. But right now we do see an attempt at moving onto this gold mine over here, as GrassenGroom doesn't have good eyesight on that one. Hagrit has cleaned up the Oracle that was over here. Had the Oracle been like sneaking in onto this location, anytime you find the secondary golds. That's where you want to put your oracles, as the hippikon making this move forward yet again, getting found by GrassenGroom's units. Luckily not getting completely caught out because there's no heroes there. But now we see Apollo coming through for Hagrit. For Hagrit, as GrassenGroom dropping more buildings. He's getting his farms up. He probably doesn't have as many farms as he might like here. Well, maybe he does 6 farms, 7 farms. That's like the equivalent to 21 farms here. So he's kind of okay. Might want a little bit more food to continue here, but he's going to be able to advance fairly soon, I'm sure, as we see Hagrit's army getting caught out yet again, falling victim to this Centaur hippikon combination where the hippikon are just too slow. The Atlantean units are so fast. They move at 4.95 speed at the very minimum. Yes, the Prometheans have less speed, but Hagrit losing all of those Centaur there, and he does decide to just give it up after that movement there. A little bit of a sad start to the series here for Hagrit, but GrassenGroom's got to be happy to get that first game under his belt here. Able to, I mean, I can hear the comments where people go, man, it's just impossible for certain civilizations to function on certain maps. The idea that Oranos is overpowered or too strong on low hunt maps is an idea that I've heard and has been parroted for quite some time. But I actually just think that all that it means is that players don't fully understand exactly what hunt means and what they're able to do and get away with. And let's be real here. If Hagrit hadn't been losing Centaur, which you're not supposed to be losing Centaur, and maybe organize his economy a touch better, he's not going to be that far behind in terms of the economy. Yes, Oranos is always going to have more early game economy than the Greek, but he's going to be fine in the end of the day because he's not going to lose the game. And if you don't lose the game here with Greek, you win the game against Oranos is the general rule of thumb. But GrassenGroom does come in very, very strong here. It's a very solid Oranos gameplay. The only problem is GrassenGroom's an Oranos one trick. He does play some Zeus himself, but we'll see what he's going to pick in the next game. If you guys are enjoying this games and enjoying this tournament, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.